Back pain and muscle spasms can be very painful, some of the worst pain for some people, and it can also be very debilitating. In this video, I'm going to give you my comprehensive and complete guide to what you should do when this pain suddenly comes on to give you the best relief and to help you to recover as fast as possible. Let's begin. Hello, my name is Dr. Stephen Hume. I'm a chiropractor currently based in Didcot, and this video we're going to be looking at what you should do immediately if you're suffering or if you get a sudden episode of back pain. It might be that type of back pain that gives you those muscle spasms and sends you to the floor, or you just need to lie down or get into bed. This kind of pain can be very severe, and I know for a lot of people you're wondering what you should do about it. Should you rest? Should you keep on moving? Should you work through the pain? As chiropractors, we're very used to treating and dealing with people that are in these types of situations, and so I'm going to give you my top 6 steps that you should do immediately when you get into this type of episode to give you the best relief and to help yourself recover as quickly as possible. So my first recommendation is going to be to rest. Often in these types of situations, your back has become injured. Often this can occur over a long period of time until the final straw has been put on that camel's back, and then suddenly everything falls down. And initially the back just needs to be able to rest. The tissues have become injured. There's going to be a lot of inflammation in the area. The muscles tend to spasm because it's trying to protect the spine. So what you need to do is just to rest initially. This might be 2 or 3 days, it might even be a week. Now, when you're resting, you want to put your spine in its most neutral position. Joints that are in its most neutral position are going to be in a position of ease and less stress. If the spine is flexed or is extended or put in some twisted position, it's going to put more stress on the joints, on the discs, and also the ligaments and muscles. So you want to put it in the most neutral position. And so often the best position for you is going to be lying on your back. Now, the important thing here is there are many things that can cause this type of problem. And so depending on where the problem is coming from, the advice will differ slightly. And this is why you might want to seek some professional help. Go see a chiropractor so that they can diagnose the problem and then give you more specific advice. But I'm going to give you more general advice. And what I'm going to say with this advice is that you should listen to how your body responds. Get into a position that you're in the most pain-free. So do listen to the pain. And if you're in a position that causes a lot of pain, get out of it. If you're in a position that causes the least amount of pain, that's going to be a good position for you to start off with. Now, if you're on your back, often what can be very helpful is to put a pillow underneath your knees. This is just going to take the slack off your hamstring and your sciatic nerve. And you can even put a pillow or something underneath your low back that can just help to increase the curve in your spine. And often that can be helpful as well. Play around with it. You might need to play around with different thicknesses of pillows to find the best one for you. It might be that lying on your back is too painful. You might find a better position. Sometimes initially it can actually be easier to walk around, and if that's the case, then that's what you should do. Now, the second step is to use ice or heat. Now, generally ice is very good for decreasing inflammation in the joints of the spine, and heat's very good for increasing the blood flow in the muscles. Now, you often will have 2 aspects to this. Sometimes people think, oh, this is a muscular problem or this is a spinal problem, and yes, you might get a sense as to where that pain's coming from, whether it's coming more from the muscles or more from the spine, but often they're both involved. One might be causing the other, but often they'll be both involved. If you've got a spinal problem, the muscles will contract to try and protect the spine. And if you've got a muscular problem, you're gonna have a problem with the joints. So we wanna really deal with both areas. Now, when it comes to the spine, if you put an ice pack on the area, often it's not really gonna get to the joints. The joints are a little bit too deep for the ice to have much effect. So often I'll actually say that the heat will be the better one for you because it will just at least help to relax the muscles a little bit and give the muscles a little bit more blood flow, a little bit more nutrition so that they don't fatigue quite as quickly. However, you might actually find that ice is a bit more helpful. And if that's the case for you, then I would suggest just do the one that's the most helpful. Generally, if you're going to use ice, try and use it more on the spine and on the bony aspects and the joints. And if you're going to use the heat, try and use it more towards the muscular areas. So more towards the sides of the spine, and try to stay a little bit further away from the joints. Number 3 is pain meds. Now, I'm certainly not the one to jump for pain meds. However, I do recognize their benefits in these types of situations. You want to try and avoid taking the painkillers because the painkillers aren't getting to the root of the problem. This isn't the type of thing that you should be taking painkillers to try and help it heal. In fact, there are some research that suggests that NSAIDs like ibuprofen can actually get in the way of the healing because it decreases inflammation, and often initially the inflammation is actually helpful for the healing process. However, if you're in a lot of pain and it's stopping you from particularly sleeping or moving around, then I'll actually say that painkillers are going to be a good thing for you, particularly if it's stopping your sleep, because if you're not sleeping, that's going to give you a bad negative feedback loop where you're not going to be healing as well because you're not getting as much sleep. So it's important that you're sleeping well, and if the painkillers help you to do that, then do it. Now, some of the downsides of taking the painkillers is that you're not going to be fully aware of what's going on in your back because it's going to be dulling down the pain. So you just got to be careful how you move, because it can be very easy to send yourself backwards just because you're not fully aware. And also, you want to come off them as quickly as you can. You don't want to get into a rhythm of just taking them when you don't actually need them. Also, if you're taking the painkillers and they're not having any effect, then come off them. Find a different painkiller, or just don't take them at all if it's having no effect, because painkillers don't come without their side effects. Often they can affect things like the stomach, particularly ibuprofens. I would suggest start with the paracetamol. If that doesn't work, you can try the ibuprofen. You can try them together because they are two different types of painkillers. If it's still having no effect, I would suggest go to the pharmacy, speak to the pharmacist, and they can give you some more advice. You might want to visit your GP and they can prescribe you something a little bit stronger. I'm certainly no expert on the pain med side of things, so speak to your pharmacist or your GP for more advice on that area. Number 4 is to move. Now, initially, sometimes it may be not possible, and it might cause you so much pain that you just need to rest for a little while. Initially, just allow the tissues to heal a little bit so that you can move. But generally, as soon as you can move and do it without it provoking the pain too much, you need to be able to do it. Reason why is because joints are designed to move, and also particularly if it's a disc problem, the center of that disc doesn't have a blood supply, so it relies on motion, which we get through movement, to pump the nutrients in and to pump the waste product out so that the tissue can actually heal. It has all the material it needs to be able to heal. So as soon as you can, start moving. The best exercise to do is going to be simply just walking with long strides and allowing your arms to swing as much as you can. And the other thing is going to be an exercise I'm going to point you towards at the end of this video. I've done another video on an exercise that you can do, and I'll show you that at the end of this video. Number 5 is to drink lots of fluids. Your body needs lots of water. Your discs are made of mostly water, and so it needs lots of water. So if you are dehydrated, you are going to put your body at a disadvantage to healing this type of problem. So just make sure that you're drinking lots of fluids. And then number 6, the final one, is to go see a professional. Go see a chiropractor, someone that's used to dealing with this kind of issue, and get your problem corrected and sorted. Now, a little thing that I will just mention is that sometimes I get people say that I didn't want to come initially because I couldn't stand the thought of being adjusted or moved around with so much pain. And it may be the case that you just need a rest for at least a few days before you come see us. However, if you do come see us in a really bad state, we will tailor what we do, how we examine you, and how we treat you based upon how you present. And so, particularly if you're very acute initially in a lot of pain, we will just do less, and we won't maybe adjust you initially. We may just need to let things heal. And there are many things that we can do just to help ease the process and help make that process a bit quicker for you so that we can get to the point where we can actually treat you properly. But certainly once you start to come out of the problem, then we need to get to the cause and the root of the issue, because in a lot of cases, this type of issue can come back again in the future. And so what we're very good at is identifying what those are. Often it's mechanical distortions that we can correct to then make this a lot less likely for you to suffer an episode again in the future. So don't be afraid to go see someone, even if it's just for an initial consultation, have a chat with someone. They can at least diagnose the problem, find out what was going on, and then give you more specific advice, give you exercises, and then if you want to, they can also give you some treatment as well. Now, the video that I'm going to suggest is a video I give the most often because I find it so beneficial. It's particularly a good exercise for helping you to manage the problem, particularly if you're in an episode, but it's also very good to help prevent the problems if you do it regularly every day. And that's going to be a cat camel exercise. I'm going to put that video just here or here. It's titled My Most Recommended Exercise for Back Pain. So go check that out after this video as I'll go through that exercise, and that's one you can do as soon as you feel comfortable doing it. I hope this has been helpful. I know this type of thing can be very painful, so I really hope that you heal from it as soon as you can. If you like seeing content like this one and you want to see more, then please do subscribe to this channel. Please do put any suggestions or further videos in the comments, and I'll see you on the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.